Well, welcome to another video on international management. Now, thank you for filling out the my course assignment that gave me a good idea as to where you are. By the way, I'm going to create another video about the feedback about that my course assignment. So this video is about chapter number 1 and also course overview. Because based on the feedback, it seems like some of you do have some good idea about what it is, and some of you are a little confused. So uh, let's start off with the course overview, and not the course overview, like the big picture. What is this? So this way you can understand what this is, make a connection to this and see how this can benefit you. All right. So let me start this slideshow. Okay, all right. So you guys have probably seen this map, right? So I mean, I'm covering Russia, but that's all right. So is this the real world map? Most of you are going to probably say yes, and it is a real world map. This is the political map, right? Yeah. So this is the map we grew up seeing, and this is how the world looks like. And for all practical purposes, this map makes a lot of sense, right? Now, let me show you from a business point of view what the world map really looks like, okay? Ready? So this is what the world map really looks like, okay? Now, if you notice, look at this, I mean, the usual suspects are the big countries, and of course, um, they are occupying more space on the map. By the way, this map is actually based on the PPP, and there is something called GDP, and then there is the PPP. So you may want to Google it and find out what is the difference between nominal GDP and GDP in terms of PPP. Okay, take a look at that. So as you can see, the areas that I have kind of circled, those are kind of the important areas as far as the world commerce, globalization, the international trade, and all of that is concerned. So that's why you'll notice that, this is Africa, okay? A lot of people are dying in Africa, even for simple reasons like, the water is not clean or they don't get proper food. I mean, it is sad in a way. It's like terrible, but people really don't care. Why? Because nobody's doing business there. Versus think about last year in March when we found out about COVID, the coronavirus, stock market tanked almost 50%. And if you look at Africa, there are tons of people that just died, but nobody cares because economically it's not important. So keep this map in mind. So you guys are either if you are looking to make a change or if you are looking to enhance your career options. So keep this map in mind, as this will help you understand where the world is going, how the world is shifting. So you may want to prepare yourself for that. Okay. So let me show you again. This is the political map, world map, and this is the economic map. Okay. And so here to give you a slightly better idea, so China, India, Asian countries, Japan, all of that is close to like 40% of the world trade or the world GDP in terms of PPP. And then you got the US, so this is that, and the US is 15%. So US is actually losing its importance in the world, but US is still an important player. And that's why we see tariffs, applied on China and other countries, because that is one way to reduce the dominance of other countries. And then you got the European countries over here. Their, percentage, their share is shrinking too. And you got the South American countries over here. Okay, so just take a good look at this map. That's where it is going. So if you are interested in a career overseas, or even if your company is global, which most of the companies you work for are global. So think in terms of how what you're doing impacts the other countries, because that's where most of the commerce is going now. And US, as I said, it's still an important player. I just wanted to show you. Sorry about that. Just trying to move my picture somewhere. By the way, when you do create your videos, make sure your videos are like this, meaning I can see your face and whatever you're showing. So this is each and every state in terms of GDP of countries. So Texas is, you can say, as big as Canada in terms of GDP, okay, in terms of economic output, okay. You can say California as big as France, New York, Brazil. You don't see India, China, Germany, Japan in this because they are bigger than one country. Okay, so this is just to give you an idea. US is still an important player, and we got to keep an eye on where the world is going. So this is just wanted to give you, like, some people say money doesn't buy happiness. Well, that was true a few years ago, like almost 10 years ago. Mexico was on top. US was lower in terms of happiness, okay? So a few years ago, 10, 15 years ago, this definitely was the case. But now everybody, so this is 2017, this is Mexico. It has slipped a bit, but not much. US has gone up. You see India, China over here. The reason I'm pointing out Mexico is I do understand a lot of students either are from Mexico or have connections to Mexico or speak Spanish, so they're probably interested in what's going on in Mexico. Still, people in Mexico, and I do have lots of friends, and I do enjoy their company. I love playing dominoes. Anybody from Puerto Rico? Again, I've done. Puerto Rico is US, but got good friends. I love playing dominoes with them. All right, so going off tangent, but just wanted to give you some idea, money, happiness, and all that. Now, let me kind of give you the overview of the course as such, okay? So, we are in a situation, wherever you are, think of that as your point A, okay? That is your current situation, okay? And where you want to go is point B, which is your desired goal. So you are one place and you want to go another place. So that's what it is. So how do you get there? The arrow is how you're going from point A to point B. Okay, this arrow right here. Okay, it's taking you from point A to point B. This is my super duper graphics for this. By the way, this is something I came up with, so I can find an image for this. So how you go from point A to point B, the top of that, I'm going to say is strategy. You're going from point A to point B. And who takes you there from point A to point B is actually the leader. Okay, so the leader has to have the vision to see what you can do to get from point A to point B. But the one that actually makes it happen is the manager, because the leader has the vision, like this is the big picture, this is how we want to do it. And then the manager comes in and puts in, okay, now we got to have, how are we going to measure? What exactly do we want to do? How are we going to know we are there or not? Those kinds of, so leader is kind of like the big picture, manager kind of narrows it down to see how this can be managed or how this can be achieved. Okay. So how do you understand what your current situation is? So there is a tool called SWOT analysis. So SWOT is the SWOT analysis. So S and W will give you your current situation, strength and weakness. So it will tell you, what is your current situation. And when you analyze your goal and you look at what the opportunities and threats are, that will tell you how you could use your strengths to get to the opportunities, and how you can stay away from the threats, and whatever your weakness is, how you can mitigate that or what you can do to get to that. So that was, the big picture. And so just give you a little bit more distinction between management and leadership. As you can see, leadership is more about, the big picture part over here. and management is about, planning, budgeting, making sure that things are done the way they need to be done. And now I add I to it, which is the international part, international management. So you have to throw in a whole bunch of different variables because each country has their different laws, legal, requirements, trades, tariffs, taxes, different rules, regulations, and then then the other side is the culture that you have to deal with. So on one side you have the government, you know, rules, regulations, and all that. The other side is the people, the culture. How do you motivate them? How do you get things done from them? So that the I, when you add the I, it makes it more challenging because you are adding, in addition to the regular management challenges, you are adding challenges related to the intergovernmental treaties and policies and all that, and then the culture, that is a big piece as well. Okay, so that was just to quickly recap. So international management is is about managing in a global world. So this is what the world looks like, and this is actually the real world, like, based on how the economies are. So you need to be focused on where the world is going and start thinking in terms of how those policies affect that. So this is a brief overview of international management, and let me quickly go over to the chapter number 1. So that's the focus of this class as well, this video as well. So as I mentioned, now I just want to say one quick thing over here. I will be creating chapter videos for each chapter, but I will not be going through each and every slide. I'll just focus on few important key ideas, which doesn't mean that whatever I don't cover is not important. It just means that I'm trying to give you an understanding of what the chapter is about. And there are certain things that are easy, which you could just read and you'll be able to understand that. And there are certain things that I want to tell you behind the scenes as to how that concept is more important, okay? So international management, we already talked about it. MNC, multinational corporation, is something, a company that operates in more than one country. And then you have offshoring is anything that is done outside the country, okay? So offshoring is outside the country. Outsourcing is outside the company, okay? So let me give you an example. Let's say IBM decides to get some computer services done in India. So that is outside the country. IBM US, let's say, wants to get some job done, computer stuff done in India. So that is outside the country. So it is offshoring. But let's say IBM US gives that job to a smaller company in the US. Let's say ADP is doing the payroll for IBM. I don't know, but I'm just saying ADP, the payroll company. So it has IBM has outsourced its payroll activities to ADP, but ADP is doing it in the US. Okay, so then that is outsourcing because it is outside the company. Now, if let's say IBM gives it to ADP and ADP, it doesn't do it in the US, but it does it in India, then it is offshoring. Okay, outside the country versus outside the company. And then there are a whole bunch of different treaties and organizations that have been put in place to manage the global trade rules, oversee the rules, regulations, things like that. So WTO, this is the biggest one. Then you got NAFTA, which is USMCA, EU, and a whole bunch of other treaties. And these are the European EU countries, and these are the ones that want to join. Turkey, Serbia want to join EU. So if you look at the global demographic, it is changing because of an important factor right here. Fertility rate is going down, although some could argue that the world population is already large and we don't need more people, but that also brings in other things, which is working age population is declining because fertility is going down, and the opposite side is life expectancy is going up, which means what? The healthcare spending is going down, sorry, is going up because of people getting older. Okay? And this is having the biggest impact on developed nations because the fertility rate in developed countries is basically US, EU countries, most of the EU countries, UK, Germany, France, although UK is out sort of. But anyway, so those are developed countries, and developing is India, China, Mexico, Brazil, Russia, and then you got other countries as well from the Eastern Europe, Central Europe. Okay, so this is what is happening, and then the economy is also shifting to, as I showed you in the other slides, to Asia, or the focus is shifting more over there. So these are G7 countries, E7 countries. Again, I'm quickly going through just to hit key important points. By the way, this is an interesting thing, market economy, command economy. So you have to see, this is sort of an assignment. Again, there's no assignment as such, but you can think of this as something that you could look up is, which countries fall under these: market economy, command economy, mixed economy. Market economy is basically the government doesn't interfere much. It just makes sure that the competition is fair. Like you have antitrust rules and anti-monopoly rules in the US to make sure that one company doesn't get too big and there is fair competition. Command economies where the government is telling the companies what to do. Actually, most of the companies are under the control of the government, and it's doing fixing the prices and all that. And mixes, there's a combination. The government is also involved, private sector is involved too. So one of the things you may want to Google is find out which countries, actually I did give you a hint, fall under these. Okay. Established economies, again, developed economies are that. I'm quickly going through this. I don't want this video to be too long, but I want to give you a few key important points about this. We already discussed this, and may have to move myself a little over here. Okay. By the way, you do have all these PowerPoints on Blackboard. Okay. So quick recap, and so the first chapter was about international management. International management is managing in a global global context. Okay, so in a normal context, the manager is supposed to make the plan things, make sure people are motivated, make sure people, there is a plan to make things happen. But when you add the international component to it, then you have to add the culture as well as other government restrictions, policies, and all that to it. Okay. So thank you for watching this video, and I will make videos in future for other chapters as well. All right, thank you.